On February 2nd, 1943, the last pockets of the German resistance in Stalingrad finally surrendered. For the Allies, it was the turning point that shifted the entire course of the war. For the Axis, it was a devastating catastrophe. The moment their unstoppable advance was shattered. But how did this war reach its brutal climax? To understand that, we need to go back to the very beginning of World War II. This is the Battle of Stalingrad. On the 1st of September 1939, Germany and the Soviet Union invaded Poland, and as you would expect, Poland capitulated. But before the war, Poland had aligned itself with the Allies, which was France and the British Empire. At the time, the British Empire covered about 1/4 of the Earth's land area and governed roughly 1/4 of the Earth's population. It was the largest empire in human history, famously described as the empire on which the sun never sets. After the invasion of Poland, there was a little part of the war called the Phony War, which there was virtually no Allied military land operations on the Western Front. But Germany, on the other hand, had tightened its grip on the north, seizing Denmark and Norway in rapid succession. Germany also had allied with Italy by signing the Pact of Steel, and afterwards Hitler turned his attention west. In May 1940, the German war machine launched a lightning assault through the Low Countries, Belgium, Netherlands and Luxembourg, completely bypassing the heavily fortified Maginot Line. The speed of the attack stunned the Allies. Within weeks, France capitulated, but Britain refused to surrender. The Battle of Britain became the first major campaign, fought entirely in the air, and despite relentless German bombings, the RAF held firm. It was a crucial moment, the first time Hitler's advance had been stopped, proving the Axis war machine was not invincible. Germany expanded south, but then came Hitler's greatest gamble. On June 22, 1941, Germany launched Operation Barbarossa, the largest invasion in human history. The Wehrmacht seemed unstoppable, pushing deeper and deeper towards Moscow, Leningrad, and the oil-rich Caucasus. But the Soviet Union did not collapse. The Red Army absorbed unimaginable losses, yet continued to fight. The brutal winter of 1941 slowed the German advance, and by 1942, Hitler shifted his focus south so he could seize the oil fields. Standing in his way was a single city, Stalingrad. When the Germans first approached the city in late August 1942, they believed it would fall in days. They had crushed everything in their path for over a year. But the moment the first German unit stepped into the outskirts, they realized Stalingrad was unlike anything they had faced before. The Luftwaffe had bombed the city so thoroughly that Stalingrad no longer resembled a city at all. It was a wasteland, shattered concrete, twisted metal, and endless smoke. But instead of Soviet resistance breaking, destruction created a perfect defense maze. A German officer wrote, "The city was dead, yet it fought us." A Soviet defender described the opening clashes as a storm of dust and fire. You could not see the enemy, only feel him. Fighting became so close that soldiers often heard the enemy breathing on the other side of the wall. Grenades, knives and bare-handed combat became common. The Germans called it Rattenkrieg, Rat War. By November 1942, the Germans were exhausted and the Soviets struck and created a massive encirclement. Smashed forces guarding the flanks. Within days, the entire German 6th Army was surrounded. Hitler ordered them to hold the city at all costs. Supplies ran out, ammunition dwindled, soldiers froze in their trenches. A German officer wrote, "We are no longer an army, we are the ruins of one." By February 1943, the end was inevitable. Entire regiments surrendered without resistance. Stalingrad is now over. The Battle of Stalingrad could not be overstated. It was the first time an entire German army had been completely annihilated. The invincible image of the Wehrmacht, which had swept across Europe with terrifying speed, was shattered in the ruins of a single city. From that moment on, Hitler's forces would never again regain the initiative. And yet, from that devastation came a turning point. Stalingrad marked the moment the war changed direction, the moment the unstoppable finally stopped. Stalingrad was not just a chapter in World War II, it was the hinge on which the entire conflict turned.